Okay, guys, I want to give you a quick rundown as to where we stand right now in getting this project laid out and get something here that we can start working with. Up till now, what I've been doing is taking all the data that I have, integrating it. Some of it has disagreed with itself, and that's quite normal at this stage. So my whole idea was to get this thing down to a point where I felt confident that I pulled in every piece of data that you've sent me, and now it's time to start adjusting and letting you look over some of the decisions that I made, and take it from there. The basic layout is taken very much from the information that the metal building guys did. A few minor changes, but generally I've integrated that plus the original layout on the civil site plan. The two were not very far apart, so my final design and the design of the civil were within feet of each other. This is a site plan, and the gray represents the layout that the civil guy did. The blue is what we have now, and this is the one that I came up with. It's very similar, but has a few minor changes. You'll notice it's a little bit shorter in this direction here. It's a little bit longer right here in that area, a little bit longer there. So it's a little bit shorter there. And this is where the office is right here, which I'll go over with you in just a second. This is an overview with the roof removed off. You notice I have equipment set, which we'll go over in a little bit. These are various equipments that Brandon sent me information on. I also have the office sitting here. I have not worked out uses or anything. This is what you guys are going to be working with me on for all these various spaces. But this is the basic layout that I have come up with based on all the data that I've got. This is the same thing from the back. This is all open back here. And then, of course, our office is right here. Now, this is a major area where I changed some things. I put the office here. Now, that is what you wanted, but you had the office in your information a little bit larger than what I think we ended up doing. And I had good reason for it. I think it's a very adequate office, but we didn't talk much about details of that. So we'll zoom in on that in a little bit. This area here is now 70 feet wide, which I understand we originally had it at 80, now it's 70. That is the original 80, and then all these bays here are almost exactly what were set up originally, and their heights are as well. On the office layout, this is your main entry right here, and you'll notice we have the steel pieces that are in here, but they all work nicely with the layout. And then what I have are conference rooms, offices around here, men's and women's bathroom, utility rooms, a break room, various ways to get out. Now, one of the things that changed was that the measurements that that I was given as to where these pieces of equipment were placed put this unit here, and it did not make sense to me. So you'll see what I ended up doing with it. What I ended up doing was moving it here with a slight walkway. Now, this is not something I'm highly familiar with, so I'm going to definitely need some feedback from you. I know the size is about right, but anyway, just so you understand, that moved forward, and I'm hoping that's a workable way for you. So we'll need to get into the nitty-gritty on that. This is a perspective view of the office, and you get a sense of that. This is a 10-foot ceiling. Then we've got about a 2-foot deck, slightly less than that maybe, and then an entire area above that that could be used for something. If you feel like you need to use it as an office now, then we can certainly deal with that. Right now, I think it'd be a good mezzanine. So that's something we definitely want to talk about. But what I've done so far is I have shown the office only, and this is on the first floor. Now, once we're together as far as the layout, then we need to get into things like where doors are going to go, where openings are going to go between these. These, for instance, just to give you an idea, uh, these are as the metal building guys were proposing, and I agree with them on that. These are long iron this way with columns, and then we have fill-in walls in between. And that's what I believe you're doing, although you may be eliminating these walls. So I need some feedback from you on that. And of course, we have the areas for the crane rails up here. And I'm going to need guidance from you as far as that goes. The drawings you sent me for the various equipment is interesting. Some of it is, as you know, from Europe. Some of it's very confusing, but we're going to need to definitely work out foundations and holes and things like that, because as you know, there's conduits and all sorts of under the slab, especially on this big old unit right here, which extends quite a bit higher than that, as we both know. But I have a basic rough location shown, and this is graphically correct. This is the overview from the outside. I have it turned into a glass view so you can see the ribs and everything on the inside. And you'll see the roof that we're looking at doing on this. This is quite workable. I've got one minor change I'll be making up here, which is not going to affect by feedback from you guys. So take a look at it. I'm sending this and the plans along to you to review. And remember, this is still very rudimentary in the works, but I think it's a good spot now for us to begin talking about some details. You guys can correct me where you think I have gone in the wrong direction. And then this will get us to a point where we have the basic bones of this thing right. And then we'll need to start rolling our shirt sleeves up and begin dealing with things like equipment placement, where we're going to be putting doors, this whole office layout as you may want it. Fenestration, which is, having to do with windows and openings and things like that. We'll be getting to the nitty gritty, but let's get the bones done first. And we're at a point now where you can take a look at it. All right, look forward to your feedback.